Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for another installment of my Thinking Out Loud series. Basically, it's what it sounds like. Thinking Out Loud is where I explain my thoughts on something. Maybe it's a current trend, or a current topic, or just something that I've had in mind for a while, and then I kind of discuss it with minimal edits or planning, but I go into it because I've been thinking about it a lot. And what's been on my mind lately? Music festivals. How could it not be? Because music festivals are everywhere now. There's so many you can't even keep up with it. It depends on the style of music that you're into, of course, but we all know the major festivals that have just come around or even just had inaugural events in recent years. You've got everything from some of the staples like Coachella, Bonnaroo, ones that have been around for quite a while, to some of the newer things like Governor's Ball or even Electric Forest and Shaky Knees. There's so many music festivals that how could you possibly keep up with them all? But the real problems that have developed with music festivals in recent years, what are those? Why am I talking about them? And what exactly is the problem in general? I didn't know that there was a problem that you might be thinking. Well, the problems are the lack of many things, the lack and the change. Music festivals started off as kind of a thing for fans, but also they were very different and unique from each other. You might see overseas that Reading and Leeds had a very different lineup than what you might get out at Coachella or even at Ryan Fest or whatever event that you're going to. But nowadays, especially in 2018, trust me, if you go to a music festival, you're going to see one of four people headlining, and you know these names are going to be there. Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, The Killers, Jack White. They're pretty much at every festival. They're all booked up. And this is coming from someone who is going to a music festival this year, but it's a music festival that I feel like had one of the best lineups because I, of course, being a little bit more of a fan of rock, alternative, and even pop, a little bit of hip-hop, I feel like it has the perfect balance. I'm going to Boston Calling for the second year straight. Now, obviously, everybody has different opinions on lineups and that sort of thing, but what has changed over the years? Well, I've noticed that there's been more of a focus on pretty much everybody getting the same bill, or else a very similar one. There's your same indie acts that are playing the majority of the festivals. There's your same hip-hop groups or even artists that are playing each festival, or else the majority of the festivals that are going around. And you notice how these festivals aren't really ever on the same weekend. I mean, who would want to compete with each other in the first place? Of course. But it's becoming more like a touring thing, something like Warped Tour, which is ironically ending this year. At least Warped Tour had the audacity to go out there and say, hey, we're a traveling tour, and all of these people are going to be on the bill the entire time, or else the majority of the summer. With all of these festival dates getting announced, it's like, who knows who's going to be where, and we're not going to get the same ones everywhere, at least not the exact same ones. Like me, for example, I would love to see Kendrick Lamar, but he's not at Boston Calling, but he's going to be at the majority of the other dates that the festivals are going to. So it's just a very odd thing, and I feel like at this point, obviously, as has everything, we've devolved into money and greed. Obviously, all of the festival promoters want everybody to come out, and they don't want somebody to say, oh, well, I'll just go to Chicago for Lollapalooza, and instead I'll just go up to Delaware for Firefly. We want to get the exact same bill that Lollapalooza has so that we won't miss out on that money. So everybody starts competing and trying to pull the exact same acts, which makes it boring. I miss the competitiveness of who could have the better lineup or who was going to have the biggest draw this year. Even thinking back 5 to 10 years, I know that it's been different. I went to Bonnaroo right around when things started changing, and that was my first major music festival. That was 2012, and I do feel like there was a very solid lineup that year. Kendrick Lamar was on there. Unfortunately, I didn't see him because I wasn't aware of his music, but hell, that had to have been a great show. I did see Childish Gambino, though, that year. It was a different time in music, even thinking back 6 years, and that's hard to believe how much things have changed, but I think that this new generation has had a big impact on it. And obviously streaming, being able to pull analytics on what people are listening to, and seeing that bands and maybe rock music aren't as big a draws, music festivals start to shift, and as a result, the lineups get chaotic. And obviously, the heads up top are saying, all right, well, let's just start offering all these other packages and things like that, and things get more and more expensive, and it becomes more of a pain to the consumer than it is a pleasure. You go to the festival and you expect to have just a nice lineup, a good time, and not pay too much. I even look back to something that I saw recently. I saw the lineup for Reading and Leeds 2000. And obviously, budgets have changed and there are influxes and, you got to adjust for inflation and everything like that. But the ticket price for 3 days, the entire weekend, was just over $100. And now at this point, that exact same festival, just for the basic thing that doesn't even include like a parking pass, I don't think, it's like $330. And I know that inflation is a thing, but in just 2 decades, not even quite 2 decades, that's a big increase. And obviously, money is playing into that. People who play these shows are wanting more money. Obviously, I don't even want to know what Eminem is getting paid for some of these. But also, the corporate heads are getting paid more, and it's all gone to their head. They're saying, we can profit off of this. How do we screw over the music fan in the process? And then they proceed to do just that. It's very unfortunate because I, obviously being a huge music fan, I would love to get more festival experiences, and I would love for people in general to do that and to just soak in the environment. But that leads me to my second major problem that I have with modern music festivals, and that's the people that are going in general for the wrong reasons. It's more about the music back in the day, but now I feel like it's more about the aesthetic or the appearance or who you can brag to about why you're at Coachella. Sure, Coachella is an easy target, but it's obviously a prime example because people go there looking for fashion. They go because companies promote for them to go there and do a Snapchat story or an Instagram post about their experience, and they're wearing their clothing brand, and then people will want to go the next year and wear that clothing brand or whatever it is, or the designer shades. And it's more about the fashion and the people and just being there and saying that you're at this festival than it is about the music. Go up to some of these people at these festivals. Who are you here to see? Oh, well, I'm not really here to see anyone. I'm just here for the vibe. Or else, oh, I'm going to see Jack White, but I'll be sitting in my booth that's like a mile away looking through a television screen at the performance. What's the point of even being there? That's my question. What is the point of being at the music festival in the first place if you're not there to experience the music? And those are another thing that are killing music festivals, is the addition of all these extra areas and all of this VIP camping or this VIP cabana that you can rent out. And people are staying there and focusing on that and getting drunk, doing whatever they do, fine. If that's what you want to do, that's how you spend your money. But at the same time, I feel like it's now looked at more as this elusive thing, and maybe even for richer, wealthier people that are going into and attending these events just so maybe they can look better and present themselves better to the world. And that's maybe a society flaw in general, trying to make ourselves look good online. Ooh, yeah, never want to get into that, but that's a whole different topic right there. I'd be curious to know what everyone else thinks about this, because it is a very prevalent issue. It's something that I feel is pressing because obviously music festivals are very big. I know a lot of my fans and viewers are going to festivals. I know a lot of you guys are hoping to meet up with me at Boston Calling. And if you do want to do that, absolutely. Just hit me or my girlfriend Hannah up on Twitter. We would be more than willing to meet up with you, talk with you, take a picture, whatever you want to do. But obviously, if you're headed out to a music festival, I beg of you to get into the music and open yourselves up to new bands. At Boston Calling, I'm planning to check out new bands that I maybe don't know as well, or else have a little bit less familiarity with, and I want to get into them, so I'm hoping that seeing them live will turn me on to more of their stuff. And it absolutely works. I can attest to this. It happened to me at Bonnaroo, it's happened to me at Warped Tour, and it obviously happened to me last year at Boston Calling. I caught some unexpected sets, and I also got into some people that I wasn't into as much, so seeing people live can change things. So I say go in with the right perspective, even though the lineups can seem a little bit disingenuous these days, just like they're trying to appeal to everybody and anyone. And I understand that music festivals are just kind of like the last dying breath of the industry in a way, because Spotify is not paying that well. Apple Music slightly better still. Streaming doesn't even pay what downloads did. And downloads didn't pay to the artist what the CD and vinyl format and even cassette format did to the artist back in the day. There's less money in music than ever before. And it's very hard to make a buck out there. I understand that for artists and as a YouTuber myself. But at the same time, I would like to see expansion in the future instead of just everything becoming robotic and processed like so many other things have. It's unfortunate that that's what it's come to in music and just the world in general, but I do hope that there are better things on the horizon. This is all just my opinion though, guys. I want to know, what do you think about music festivals in general? Are you going to any in 2018, or do you want to in the future, or have you been to them in the past and you're just so jaded on it at this point? Please, sound off in the comment section down below, drop a like on this video, and let me know, do you want to see more thinking out loud type videos like this? I'm honestly very pleased at this one. I didn't have any mistakes, no cuts whatsoever, so I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed discussing this with you. Anyways, if you would like to support me on Patreon, it's the top link down below. It helps videos like this keep coming, or else it's the annotation in the corner, another thinking out loud video right over here, or another recent video I made for you guys right here. If you would like to find me on social media, it's all of these links down below in the description, and I'll see you very, very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.